Hey everyone, it's Rob Golfi here with Remax, the Golfi team. I've got Conrad Zarini here with Remax, Escarpment Remax Niagara, broker owner, and we got Brian Hogbin, Mission 35 Mortgages. And so we're going to talk about what's been happening in Hamilton. And the real estate board sent out a message saying that they're going to try to double the land transfer tax in Hamilton. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what? Like, there's so much news about homeless. There's so much news about affordability, and like, I want to know who brought this up. Like who? Like, do they own a house or they had not? Like, we need to know. Like, and why was there even a meeting about this? Like, what the heck is this about? Like,
well, these people are tone deaf, and look, the city is bankrupt. If you take a look at what they have to do under the ground infrastructure, we're probably 80 to 100 million behind. Okay, they've already used a whole bunch of development charge money for things that were earmarked for stuff. So the city's bankrupt. When you look at, if you had a company and you had to, machinery was going down and your machinery wasn't working, you'd have to invest in your machinery. If you couldn't afford to pay for the machinery, you go bankrupt. So the city's bankrupt. So now they're looking at wherever they can, and they think this is the path of least resistance because they don't want to raise taxes, right? Because people say, "Oh my God, my taxes are up 6-7%." So they put it on the shoulders of the Canadian homebuyer, Hamilton homebuyer, and that's what they do all the time. Development charges go to them, parkland dedication, all the taxes that they can think of go on the shoulders of the Canadian homebuyer. And I don't think we can take it anymore. And I was telling Brian before we got on that the index, the affordability index, number one most affordable unaffordable place, Vancouver. Toronto's number 2, Victoria's number 3, and Rob, you got to guess who's number 4. Most unaffordable city in Canada to buy a house based on median income and median price. Take a guess.
Burlington.
Hamilton, Ontario.
Oh, yes. Shit. You got to be kidding.
Hamilton, we're just under Victoria. Like, come on, guys.
Well, and you know what? If that land transfer tax came in, it's just going to push everybody out. It would push people to Brantford, Niagara Falls. It would push.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Because that's what happened in Toronto.
Well, look
at that in Toronto. They started to dissipate. I'm like, I'm going to go to Mississauga.
They went to Niagara. Look at Niagara. Yeah. Like we got little Toronto in Niagara right now. Like you know what I mean? Like it's like what? Like, do they realize what they're doing? They're going to put more homeless out there. They're going to people just can't afford this stuff.
Well, the article that came out today too about council scrapping Hamilton's encampments. It says here, do you know how much we spent on homelessness? And I get it's a problem, right? But you know how much we spent on homelessness last year? $125 million. $125 million. Yeah. And that's a lot of money.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something.
You still had the encampments, right?
So I'm going to tell you something. If I was running that show of the encampments or it wouldn't be 125 million. You can do that for a lot less money. Who is like, I don't get 125 million. Like, who runs this stuff? Like, you know what I mean? Now, the other thing is the land transfer tax, Brian.
Yeah.
You cannot finance that, can you? You have to have that money up front.
No, and that's the problem because it kills the middle class, right? Because the middle class buyer that's just getting into there, now all of a sudden their closing costs, well, they're double. They're double, right? So now, like, especially the first time home buyers, so now, they got to save up that extra money because it's got to come from your down payment. Then it means you're putting less money down.
Yeah.
So they're saying here a $750,000 home, the land transfer tax is $11,475. So if they double it, so now for a buyer that has to buy a house, first time buyer, he's got to save up $23,000, and he's at zero before he even saves money that he's got money for the down payment. And by the time he saves money for the down payment, the house is worth $200,000 more than what he was anticipating and buying for. So like, it's just insane. Like this got shut down. I don't know how long it took to get shut down, but but you're right, Conrad. They will bring this back to the table down the road.
Yeah. Do you guys think if they do bring this back, like Conrad, Rob, do you think if they bring this back, Hamilton will have the same resiliency as Toronto? Because Toronto, it came out,
yes,
and it hurt.
Well,
but then it's still super expensive in Toronto. Would Hamilton have that resiliency?
I don't believe so.
I don't think as much. No way. No way.
No
We're
way.
a different city. They'll hurt themselves. They'll shoot themselves, and they'll know what to do after that.
Well, the employment picture, right? Like the Toronto, like, you know, people are paid better salaries. They're, you know, they're financial jobs, that kind of stuff. We don't have that kind of those jobs to sustain it. And you know, it's interesting. They're looking at, like, you know, CMHC expanded the boundary to 1.5 million, and now you're 30-year amps. Like, this was going to be 2025 would have been the year, and it still is. I'm not saying it's not. But the year the first-time buyer is going to come back into the market again, right? Like, cheaper mortgages. This was the time for them to come in. And then these idiots throw this at them. Like, they got to be kidding. Look, and the numbers, I know you're saying about the resiliency, Brian, but I did the numbers recently. The 10-year resale numbers, Toronto was down 29%, and Hamilton was down 25%. Over the 10-year averages of resale unit sales. The big benefactor, Rob just said it, it's Niagara. Niagara was up about 24-25%. They're leapfrogging right over Hamilton and going to Niagara for more affordable, better value. And
this is all the reason why you do it now, right? I know it sounds cliche when we say do it now, but you never know when
these guys are insane.
Like you said, the pen stroke, all of a sudden a pen stroke doubles your closing costs and puts you out of the market. Like, imagine this got passed, your home buyer dreams in the next 60 days are squashed. They're gone. So it's
big
like,
time.
Fence,
that 27-year-old person that wants to buy a house, they just saved up enough money to put the down payment and pay the land transfer tax. Now they got to wait maybe another year or so to save the double land transfer tax. And who knows what the housing prices are. Now they got to save a little more money for the down payment on top of the land transfer tax. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Rob, I'd have everybody in your team calling their database right now and say, guys, this, like, forget about the price increases. And we know that that's happening. But look, this is not, this is not something that's not going to come into play. Might as well get on top of it, in front of it. This is your opportunity to buy if you're a first-time buyer. Because believe me, they have to figure out a way to do it, and they're gonna have. And they just said it. You got to get the minutes. You know, on the next call, we should have the minutes from the meeting. These guys, these counselors were saying these people are very, very wealthy people. They own houses. Like, think about the people that are homeless in this community that need help and that kind of thing. So they were talking in that direction. So believe me, they're going to follow the money, and they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. Right?
They're probably going to use Toronto as a case study, but to your point, we're not Toronto. No. We're not Toronto.
No. Well, the median incomes, right?
Yeah. No, if they do bring it into Hamilton, guaranteed it's going to go to Niagara. Guaranteed. Oh, yeah. Like, they'll say, hey, if those guys did it, let's obviously they survived it, and then nothing you can do about it. It's just nobody can afford a house, and there's going to be more renters out there than there are going to be homeowners. It's just going to be that much tougher to get into a house, and it's just crazy. I just couldn't believe that this was coming up. Now, didn't they try to bring this up years ago, Conrad?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Didn't this come to the table years ago? How many? Like, how long ago? Was it about 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah, at least, yeah. Well, because in and around when Toronto did it, they thought it would have been pretty effective. I don't remember the year Toronto did it, but they thought this was
around 2008.
Was it? Yeah. So yeah, they were,
was it 2000?
2008.
2008. I think they did it when Toronto did it shortly after. So I think it's probably just about 10. It could be about 15 years ago. Yeah. But look, the city is bankrupt. There's without a doubt, right? And that LRT, God bless them. Like, I don't even know where they're going to cover the cost of the LRT.
And they're going ahead with that. Are they going to start ripping up the roads? When are they planning on doing that? Is that official, or is that because that's
no? But they're just tendering it now, so they're confidentially tendering. But I don't know if you followed it. I think we talked about it in other shows. There were 71 properties that they're expropriating. They're still buying properties.
They're still buying proproperties. Oh my God.
But that's the province. That's Metrolinx. But the thing is, I don't know, the fallout. Look, you know, when you do a renovation, you guys are knee deep in it, right? You think, okay, I budget so much. Like, you're talking, we're renovating roads and major infrastructure. Oh my God. You don't think there's going to be a couple of cost overruns?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Oh, like, we didn't realize there was we didn't realize there was no sewers on this road. I
met a guy that he's doing the sewers, and he showed me. I don't know if I mentioned it. He showed me a picture of a log. The old sewers were a board, like a log that was they would drill right through. They still have those sewers under the ground in Hamilton, made out of wood.
They had those on Highway 8. They had those underground on Highway 8 in certain parts, going from Winona to through Beamsville, Niagara. There's some when they're ripping up logs on the road when they're digging deep.
Yeah, they should. You know, I told the guy you should cut them, make varnish them, make tables out of them. It'd be awesome.
What Hamilton sewer table?
Yeah. Shit ran through it at one point.
Yeah. No kidding. And it's sitting on your coffee table,
Oh my
but it's
God,
insane. But this will come back in less than 5 years from now. They're going to go. So like they're going to come back, like, I don't know, or they're going to raise taxes just like they did in Toronto. Didn't they raise it like 6.7% in Toronto just recently?
Yep.
So, and everybody's just pissed about that. And they actually pay less taxes than we do in Hamilton, I think.
They do. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And you know what? It just goes down to that. Everybody's got this unfounded certainty that things are getting cheaper in the rate market. But guess what? We got our fun-filled Trumpster coming into power. And he talks about tariffs. Like, what happens if everything gets more expensive?
Oh, shit.
We have inflation. This is what we're talking to our clients about right now. So guess what? And maybe they come, maybe they don't. But guess what? If you had a land transfer tax come into play, and then all of a sudden you had tariffs come in, which now makes everything more expensive. And then the government, if everything's more expensive, what do they got to do with inflation? They got to raise rates.
Yeah. Rates, yeah.
Can you imagine these people sitting on the fence right now thinking, I'm just going to wait? It's like, I don't know. Like, I'm telling you, like, it is such a good time right now on fixed rate mortgages right now. They're still in the low 4s. You have all this uncertainty. It's not a great time to be sitting on the fence, in my opinion.
No, it isn't. Right now is the time to get in. Even in Burlington, even though we're going to talk about permits and everything, but Burlington, December, January is a great time to buy. That's where you get a deal. You can actually almost flip a property. You could buy it in December and sell it in April and make probably 150 grand on it. That's how the fluctuating market is in Burlington when it comes to those months. But
Burlington's fascinating. It's like arbitrage. It's like currency arbitrage.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
So Edmonton is crushing it when it comes to building new homes. An outstanding Canadian first is a big reason. Now, this article just came out in the paper this week, and I get it. Like these guys, if I'm reading this right, and it says Edmonton recorded 9,441 ownership starts for October to the 8,730 posted by Toronto, a city 4 times larger than Alberta's cousin. What the hell is that about? And but what they're saying in Edmonton is that they can basically get a permit same day. Like these guys pivoted fast. Like Edmonton was early in permitting multi-unit housing in districts previously zoned exclusively for single-unit homes. The city has opened inner-city Main Street corridors and suburbs alike, like new housing development. Edmonton's streamlined zoning regimen and geared increasing supply of market affordable and non-profit housing. So, it encourages the full mix of housing types, including apartments, row houses, mixed-use houses, secondary suites, and backyard suites. And then they're saying that among the most impressive is its same-day permitting, a first in Canada. And these guys are growing like crazy.
Yeah, they have to, right? Yeah.
I think Burlington needs to take their seminar on how to frickin' do that.
I think everywhere does. Yeah. But you know what's interesting? I got a little flashback. Do you remember when they were going to do the they were doing that book, the wartime housing book? They were going to do all the federal government. Well, what that would have led to, these would have been pre-approved designs that you would just submit. Where did that even go? Like it left, gone, because that was supposed to be an opportunity. Like, look, guys, we vetted these with all the building codes in every province. Here it is. Here's the house. God bless you. And I think not that they've come up with designs, but I think they've done these kind of clone when they look at they do a clone approval in a sense. If it's the same plan, it's clone approved in a sense. So that's how they're streamlining it. right? And they're probably running things through AI and things like that that are pointing out certain things that's different from the last one they approved or whatever, right? So this is what they have to do. They have to use some of this great technology and streamline this process, but it's ridiculous. Like here,
who brought that in? Was that Trudeau himself, or was it the Ontario government?
No, Trudeau brought in. They were going to bring back those wartime homes because it used to be a catalog.
That's
right.
Right.
It was a little catalog,
Yeah.
right? So they were thinking that where are we going to cut red tape? So we're going to have approved plans on because those were on wider lots, but there was going to be approved plans on 30s, 33s, that kind of thing, like narrower lots. And here it is. Go for it, guys, and you should turn it over in a couple days. But never happened.
No.
That's a good idea. Oh my God.
It is. I remember we were talking. I think we were talking about. I talked that on the radio show. I think we talked about it, and it's like what that like. I mean, like what's going on? Like nothing's getting done.
No,
everybody, municipalities are getting in debt. Houses aren't being built. Look at if Edmonton can do it, why can't we do it here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Short-term thinking.
But think about Alberta, like it's the boogeyman of tariffs. You mentioned the tariffs, right? Everywhere else, they're like, especially Ontario, where they're losing their minds about the tariffs, right? Yeah. And Alberta, she's saying, no, I'm not going to do any of that stuff. As a matter of fact, when you look at those transfer payments, the entire Western Canada, okay, from Saskatchewan over, doesn't take any transfer payments. Ontario takes like $13 billion from the federal government. Oh. So everybody on the East just cannot manage their businesses, where the West guys got it really under control and they're innovative and doing things. And there's a lot of migration that way.
Yeah. Wow. It's just insane. Yeah. I'm reading this and I'm going, there's opportunity there. Lots of opportunity. And I just couldn't believe I was reading about this and same day permits. It just
Alberta always seems to have the opposite as Ontario. Right? They always seem to be going up and we're going down, or the opposite. They always seem to be.
Well, think about it. The savings that the investor is or the home builder, whatever, they're not burning a lot of money, and that's being transferred to the consumer. The consumer is not paying more because the developer, the builder, whoever is not having to carry this property a long time and build it and get permits and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, what did they say? The average sale price was like 400. It says last fall the figure reached which is twice as high as Edmonton's 437,000. Is that the average sale price out there? I think it is, or something like that. It's like $500,000 or something like that, average sale price. I got to read through that, but
Edmonton is one of the most affordable cities in Canada. Their ratio is at the lowest. So it's median income, medium housing, it's around 4%, like under 4%. That's where you want to be, right? That's affordability. That's perfect balance.
And they got a hockey team there too. I'm surprised it's all the great hockey players end up over there for some reason. I don't know, but guys, honestly, they've got I'm sure a lot of councillors and mayors are reading about this article in Edmonton and saying, listen, we got to implement this. So some of these places say, well, instead of a day, let's make it 3 months instead of 10 months or a year to get a
progress.
Permit,
let's see progress, right?
Yeah. Anyway,
unbelievable.
Anyway, guys, listen, time's up. I appreciate your time. Thank you. And we'll catch you next week.